Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be talking to you about some of the things you want to consider before purchasing a used ATV or side-by-side. Many people are getting into the off-road sports and they don't want to spend a lot of money on a new vehicle. These things can be quite expensive. However, there are a lot of great machines out there in the used market. If you do your homework, if you spend a little time looking over the machines that you're considering purchasing, you will get a great deal on a great machine that will give you years of service without any trouble. But there are some things you want to consider whenever you go to look at a machine. The first thing that you want to consider is your riding style. Are you going to be riding in mud? Are you just going to be trail riding? Are you going to be using the machine for work? Those are some of the things that you're going to want to consider. You're going to want to do your research and try to decide on which machine will fit your riding style the best. It's also a good idea to visit a dealer, maybe get into a couple machines, a couple of different kinds. You know, if you have friends that have various types of ATVs or side-by-sides, maybe they'll let you ride theirs, try it out to see exactly what type of machine that you're looking for. And do your research and then go looking for a good used machine. And as you're looking that machine over, just consider a few key points in making your decision. And that's what we're going to talk about in this video. The first thing that you want to consider is how comfortable does the machine feel to you? Are you comfortable when you sit in it? Is it something that you feel like you can ride in for an extended period of time? The next thing that you want to do is to consider exactly how well the engine is. Does it start and run smoothly? Look closely at the condition that the tires of the machine are in. Make sure that there are no plugs, and also look at the tread to see exactly how worn it is. That's something that you're going to have to consider when you buy a used machine, is whether or not you're going to need to replace the tires or if they're still going to give you a good service life. Look closely at the condition of the boots on your machine. These are something that can get punctured during riding off-road. Sticks and rocks and other things can damage these, so you want to check those over very well to make sure that they are not punctured or torn. Also look to see if the machine has a good heavy skid plate. That skid plate will really help to protect the machine when you're going over real rough areas. It may sound like an obvious thing, but it's also a good idea just to make sure that all of the lights on the machine work. Winches for these machines can be quite expensive, so you want to make sure that you test the winch on your machine before you purchase it. You also want to make sure that the cable as well as the hook are in good condition. That is something to consider as well, because your winch is a very useful tool if you get stuck. It's also very expensive if you have to replace it. You're going to want to check some of the obvious things on the machine that are a good indication of how well the previous owner cared for the machine. If you look to the area where your intake is for the belt on the machines that have the CVT belt, that's a good indication. If it's clean or if it's full of dirt, it's a good indication of how well the previous owner cared for the machine. The same is true on looking at the air filter. You know, pull your cover up, look at the air box, look at the filter. This one does have a K&N air filter installed from the previous owner, so it is one that was cared for very carefully. Be sure to check all of your fluids. Get a good look at the radiator as well to see if it's clogged up with mud. That's another good indication of whether or not someone had taken care of the machine. Look very carefully at the differential as well as all of your main drive line components. Look for leaks, look for any kind of damage to the casing. Those are a very critical component when considering a used ATV or side-by-side. It's common to see some scuffs or scratches in the body of these machines. You know, people riding, trail riding, and doing some rather unusual things with them. But just look over the machine real well to make sure that there are no obvious signs of excessive abuse. Make sure that none of the body panels are broken and that they're all in still fairly good shape. Once you have decided to buy a used machine, be sure to follow all the safety instructions. You know, these things are a lot of fun, but at the same time, at the end of the day, you want to be able to ride at other times. You're going to want to come home safe, be able to get back out on those trails again. So be sure to follow some of the safety instructions, some of the common sense riding techniques. And there's a lot of people out there doing some pretty wild things on these things that can get you hurt. But and also remember to have fun. That's what the sport is all about. Just going outside, getting out in the trails, and just having fun. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching the video. I hope it's useful to you. If it is, I'd appreciate it if you would give it a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe.